Well, you guys got quite the little chat going on over here. Some of the comments are pretty funny. I wish YouTube saved them, you know what I mean? So when this video goes back on YouTube, we could go back and see them. So I guess we'll start this out right. Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. Before we get too far, I will inform anybody watching this on the YouTube after the chat. The quality sucks. The video sucks. The audio sucks. Every part about it sucks. The furnace runs. The compressor might kick on, but the phone is off the hook. So that won't ring. So we'll leave it at that. Our internet sucks. It's all bad. It's a whole combination of bad things. So if you don't like it, click the close window right now. All your problems will be solved. So now we got that out of the way. I really don't have anything else to talk about. Other than I just did eat an entire bag of maple bacon jerky from jerky.com, sent to me by a viewer. The stuff's pretty darn good. I'll give it that. Even sent me some gator jerky. Oops. Yikes. He said no. He said the word suck, so it hid the word. But he spelt vacuum wrong. Tisk, tisk. Yeah. Jerky.com. No, it's not from the Jerky Boys. Oh, it's all stuck in my teeth now. Do we ever make our own jerky? I do. I like making homemade jerky. I like making like jerky sticks, like like a Slim Jim. So I've got a jerky gun at home. It's like a big caulk gun. You just pump your meat out and all the nitrate you put in it and preserve it, and it lasts for a few months and you're good to go. So I didn't title this one an AMA. I seem to be failing at the AMAs, and I always feel like I let people down, particularly if they do a super chat expecting to get the answer they want or the answer they think that I have. So I did not title this video that. Feel free to ask a question if you like Mr. Morals here just did, about where are the red Hondu videos. So that video is actually not done yet. And I need to do it before my memory leaves me and I forget why the circumstances ended up like they did. I will do that video. I think there's going to be, of course, there's going to be a great amount of disappointment in it. I'll try to explain it the best I can in the video. Is going to be the best way to handle that, I imagine. So what is happening around the world? I'm just sitting here, got done all my work. Everything's covered in snow and cold and crappy. But it's New York, baby. Oh, I did work on a Mini today, so I'm pretty much a full Euro guy now. Had a Mini come in with a check engine light on, and the cooling fans were running full speed all the time. And I actually fixed it, so I was pretty proud of myself on that one. Just had a open coolant sensor. I should have done a video on it because there was some good value in it, not so much the fix. Because the coolant sensor was open, crappy connection. Mini actually has a service bulletin on it, but the value in it was substituted data, substituted values. So I was in the OEM side of the scan tool looking at data. Of course, I pulled the codes, and it was a funny code, like a 2F1A. They don't use P codes except in the OBD2 side. So I go in, I look at temperature data, and engine coolant temp was at 36 degrees, 40 degrees, something like that. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. It has a coolant temp code. The cooling fans are running. The car runs like poo. Yeah, we have a value here. And it was a perfect example of substituted values. So immediately I popped over to the OBD2 side, and it was at -40. So apparently the car will use, oil temperature, something to substitute for the coolant temp while it's missing in an effort to make it run well. So should have made a video on that, but I didn't. Let's see. Oh, so somebody's what scan tool did I use on the Mini? I used my Launch, and it seemed to work quite well. I tried to get a drive cycle done on it so I could get a sticker on it, but I could not get the O2 sensor monitor to run, or the EVAP, which the EVAP didn't surprise me. I did force it into an EVAP test, but unfortunately that did not set the monitor. It passed the test, but it doesn't set the monitor. Oh, that's good to hear, Jason. I'm glad that they got you back up and going. Perfect. So VW Renchi, he wrote PO 128. Does that mean the stat is stuck open? So I just got a hard learn lesson on that, believe it or not. So typically, yes. So that's what insufficient coolant temp code, if that's what you're referring to. I believe that's the 128. Why don't I know this right offhand? Thank goodness for Google. Should be, right? PO 128 coolant thermostat. So I was working on a older Toyota the other day. PO 128 insufficient coolant temp. On a Toyota, that don't mean you need a thermostat. It means you need an oxygen sensor. Or at least in my case, it was. And glad I stick to my guns and actually looked at code setting criteria, because it bases that code off from oxygen sensors. It was kind of neat. I actually have a video on it, so hopefully I'll put that out someday. Let me turn the furnace off. Boy, we don't get no whiners. I'll turn it off till I get cold. When I get the shivers, I'm going to turn it back on. But yes, typically a PO 128 is insufficient coolant temp. Oh, well, thank you, Dave. I just saw that super chat come across. I appreciate that. There's no question attached to it. But yeah, back to that PO 128, I suppose, typically. But as I learned on at Toyota, always check your code setting criteria, just to see. You never know. In the case of Toyota, it looked at the O2 sensors. I don't remember the specifics on it because it was, a month or two ago, but it was pretty interesting. Had me scratching my head for a minute, then swapped out the O2, no more coolant temp code, whatever. No, we do have insulation in our shop, Ron, but it is like -5 outside, and block walls, overhead doors, and I'm kind of a wuss when I'm not working, so I like it about 62. When I'm working, it doesn't matter. So yeah, VW on you. If it is a GM, then likely you just have a failed thermostat. And I know 3800s, it's like a 5-minute job to put one in it. Yes, we have plenty of snow to plow. Snow's nice and deep outside. Got big tall banks out there, 14 foot high or so. Is that a snow? Yeah, it's a snow blower back there. That is for a customer. So I got to repair that for them. It's running lean. It's got a lean misfire. So after you use it for a while, it starts, loping. The governor starts grabbing it, and like that. You put the choke on just a little bit to cut that. You can either add fuel or cut the air off. So you cut the air off a little bit, and it runs nice and smooth. When am I going to make videos about European car repairs? Likely never, hopefully. I work on very, very few Euro cars. I just mentioned in the beginning of the chat, we worked on a Mini today. There's not many in our area. I don't make an effort to learn them, of anything beyond the basics, simply because, you just don't see them around here. That's the bottom line. If I lived more near a city, or, we don't even have a dealership within, 50, 60 miles that sells Euro cars. So, no sense in it. Forklift, I do have a forklift. It's over in the other bay. Got an old Yale or Clark. I don't remember which. I think I know. Does business slow down with all that snow? Fortunately, Mike, it doesn't. It made that day. Some people, I kind of piss and moan about that in a video. I think it's coming out tomorrow. We live in upstate New York. It has snowed here since probably the beginning of time, from December, to March. You're going to get some big snowstorms, but for some reason, it's always a big surprise. Somebody wakes up and, they've only been predicting a snowstorm for like the past week. Why it's a surprise to anybody anymore, I have no idea. It's one thing that has always baffled me. Like, really? You're shocked? Like, you can't believe it? Well, believe it, lady. Joseph asked, he thought I did a video on dormant stainless steel brake lines on a Silverado. I have not, Joseph. I should have, because I have installed countless numbers of them. And I will say this, I typically do not like dormant products as a general rule. Most of their stuff is garbage. As you guys know that, work on cars, you get it, you don't expect it to work. However, the dormant stainless steel brake line kits for the Silverados are amazing. They fit beautifully and they're legit stainless or real. I mean, they're not magnetic whatsoever and they fit wonderfully and they're relatively easy to install. So I will say that. Country or rock? Yes, both. Doing many plow repairs? Yes. I just got done fixing a Dodge 5500 with a big Western extending, scooping super plow on it. Had no plow lights. It's been all over the place. The dealership made an absolute nightmare out of this thing. They cut all the wires off the bottom of the tip arm, ran all new wires, and basically he ended up with one headlight, one high beam. I think we worked in the end. It was an absolute chabacle. So essentially put all the wiring harness back to original and then replace the connectors on the plow harness that were all burned up. So ended up replacing 5 out of the 6 total connectors. I bought them all. So these are just a 9008 connector. So I just had to have the male and female halves replace them and they were scorched. They had zip ties and screws and tape and it was a mess. Anyhow, that's good now. Everybody's happy. Need a snow plowing video of the homestead. That's got to be about like watching grass grow, don't you think, Rick? But in my opinion, I do appreciate the super chat. But gosh, who the heck would want to watch somebody plow snow? I shouldn't say that because I'm subscribed to the Plow Guys channel. But John over there is a friend of mine, so I suppose. I mean, it's like it takes a while to plow home. I just plow with my little Kubota, so. I have not done a water pump on a 3.5 EcoBoost yet. We don't service many Fords, oddly enough. I don't know if that's because they're good or if because everybody goes to the dealer. We have 2 Ford dealers within 20 miles, big ones too. But we don't see many Fords. Do I think plows ruin a truck? That's a great question, Rodney. I would say yes and no. So what I see where I get, let's say, because we're right smack in the middle of Chevy country. So a guy goes out and he buys himself a half-ton Chevy, and then he buys himself a 7.5-foot HD, Western plow, Fisher, whatever he puts on it, and then he wants to plow his house, his neighbors, and every parking lot he can sign up for $20, and then just beats the living piss out of that truck because you got to plow everything you can to make as much money as you can. So you're backing up, back and forth, back and forth. They're in, 4 high, just, abusing the snot truck. I mean, you're pushing a tremendous amount of weight and now you're trying to stack it. So, you're smacking into the piles and then, you don't want to take your plow off. So they're carrying around, because you got to show all your buddies your new plow. And so you're carrying the weight of that plow around all the time. And, eventually, it just destroys, ball joints, CV axles, everything on the front suspension, not to mention carrying the extra load, so it's hard on your brakes. And then, the classic drive to reverse. You're not coming to a complete stop before you pop it in reverse. Trust me, you're popping it in just before you hit the snowbank and you're raising the plow at the same time. Used correctly, I don't really think they hurt a truck. If you have a half-ton truck, they make half-ton series plows, light duty half-ton plows. Falls well within the limits of the carrying capacity of the front of your truck, but it has its limits. If you're going to plow commercial, get a 1-ton, 3/4 ton, get the appropriate plow, and use common sense. But the fact is, after it snowed for the 3rd, 4th week in a row, you're just out just getting it done. You could care less. But yeah, I think to a certain degree they do damage a truck, but it's depends on the operator. Let's see. How's the Tundra doing? Tundra's doing good, but I tell you what, I would rather drive my little Civic in this crappy weather than the Tundra. I know it's going to sound ridiculous, but dude, that Civic with snow tires on it is a tank. I do like driving a Tundra, and I do drive it, but I would much rather drive the Civic in the crappy weather. I'd rather like get in an accident in the Tundra than the Civic, because the Civic, you're like in a little tuna can. But that's my thoughts. But the Tundra does good. You know, the new tires I put on it, but you know, you're driving around with 433 gears, a 6-speed, and 400 horse. It gets a little squirrely. Cold in Texas, high in the 50s. I think we hit 7 today. Do any shops or dealers do brakes properly in my area? That is a question from Aaron. I would not know. I don't typically, if I see them from another shop, if they've goofed them up, yeah, at that point, no, they didn't. But most of my customers are, lifetimes. I very rarely get the customer that gets his brakes done here and gets something, done at my shop. I try to do full service, so I don't see a lot of brake jobs from other shops to base an assessment and say, oh yeah, ding dong down the road, he does, crappy brake jobs. Let's see. Did I get an invite to Finland with Eric and Charles? I'm assuming not, because I don't know what you're talking about. I assume Charles, a home mechanic, Eric, car guy. No, I did not. I wouldn't be able to go anyways. I can't close business to go on vacation. Do we have any real competitors nearby? Good question, Bullet Bob. Yeah, Bullet Bob, I guess it says. I don't know. There's a lot of shops nearby. I tend to have a good relationship with all the shops. So, thinking of them as competition, yeah, I guess we're all in the same business. But if they call me and they have a car they can't fix, I'm not going to tell them to pound sand because they're, a competitor. I'm just going to go fix it and take their money. 78 in Arizona. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, they got invited to check out the Nokian tires. Okay, that would make sense because Nokian. Oh, wait a minute. Is it Nokian is Finnish? Finnish for Journey. So Nokian makes some fantastic snow tires, the Hakkapeliitas. Hard to sell though, very expensive. How long did it take me to do time and chains on the 3-liter Equinox? Hard to say. I was sick as a dog. It took me 2 days. I worked on it till I couldn't hardly stand up, came back and finished it the next day. Did the job well within the book time limit. So, I don't know, less than 10 hours. Oh, is Helga in here? I see somebody. If you're in here, hello, Helga. I did not see. I see somebody said hello. Oh, there she is. Helga's Pennsylvania cooking it. Favorite Star Wars character? You're gonna cry, you Star Wars fans, but I've never seen Star Wars. I ain't no lie. You can tell because I'm looking right at you. Let's see. Rob from One Auto's up in here. Hey, Rob, did you hear I worked on a Mini today? It actually sits right outside the door. I drove it around, and I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty fun. It's got a little 1.6 turbo in it, and this thing's got some scoop. What kind of blinker fluid do I need? Well, we only carry one kind of blinker fluid here. I'll have to go get it because I don't know what brand it is. I believe it's just a universal blinker fluid that we have. Yeah, so this is just an all-purpose blinker fluid, LED and filament compatible. So it's just your standard blinker fluid. I don't know if it'll work with a halogen type ball. Yeah, it says LED. So that's the type of blinker fluid I have. Good stuff. My buddy Matt just texted me 10-degree chit chat at the shop or 65-degree cocktails on the beach. Man, I had some friends from Florida send some pictures on Facebook, and they were sled riding. Maybe they weren't in Florida. I didn't read the caption. Blinker fluid spill and fill. Actually, you have to flush your blinker fluid. Actually, you got to get all the old crap out. Otherwise, the blinkers blink fast. You guys have all seen it. Well, thank you for the super chat, Dave. See that pop across there? What's my favorite truck? Yeah, obviously, I'm going to say Toyota because I'm partial to it and I own one. But a long time ago, I used to be a Chevy man. So I'll let that be said because you guys get really upset when I crack the Chevy jokes. I'll tell you that. But really, I don't care. You know, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, whatever. They all make me money. But I do like my Toyotas. Blinker flutist for snipe hunters. I remember that episode on, what was that, on Cheers when they sent Frasier out. How come I had a Mini? Wait, Rob's question just went by. They took a wrong turn. Yeah, I tried to send them over to you, Rob, but they said it would take too long. Too long to go across the little ocean. Yeah, I love Cheers too. Unfortunately, I've watched every single episode, so now I'm back on. Oh yes, Crown rust proofing. I did get your package, which my wife quickly claimed, believe it or not. But I did get your little package, so I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Cheers, but not Star Wars, and you're going to take my man card? Are you serious? Cheers is awesome. You can't take my man card over that. I'm not big into the sci-fi. I don't know. I watch Cheers. I'm about halfway through Frasier right now, so I don't know what to watch next. I don't have cable TV at home, so I watch some stuff on Netflix. Yeah, Norm. Yeah, you know, Cliff Clayton. Do I prefer All Data or Mitchell? I haven't had enough experience with All Data to form an opinion. I've used Mitchell from, gosh, since, you know, the 90s. So I had Mitchell way back when you used to get it on CDs. You used to have to, you know, you put in the year, make, and model and say insert Asian disc 4. You know, you'd have to grab your discs, and then it went from that to DVD, and from that to web-based. So yes, I've used Mitchell forever. Wyatt Winable says, does the shop that did your undercoat sell the salt neutralizer? My truck is covered in salt. Oh man, that's good to hear, Wyatt. Yes, they do sell the salt neutralizer. I actually have a case of it here. I tried some the other day because I was getting the salt crusties on my carpet in the old Hondu, so I checked that out there. So yes, I believe if you go right on Crown's website, or you can give my guys a call up in Stanley and order your salt eliminator. I think it's salt eliminator. Yes, so they do sell it by the can. Salt eliminator has a kind of a funny smell. And I don't know on the website if that's still free shipping or if it is free shipping, but if not, give the boys a call up in Stanley, see what they say. I'm sure they'll help you out or give you good direction there. And why you don't have to super chat, you can just hit me up on Google Hangouts. Come on. Did I do Mrs. O's timing belt? I did not, but however, the Hondu left her hoofing the other day. Video coming out on that. It didn't break the timing belt though. Has any Amish brought a buggy in? No, Dave, but they do park them out front. The one Amish guy that uses the laundromat over here, he ties his horse up out on the pole and it craps in my driveway. And then the guy never scoops up the crap. I don't care he parks his horse out here, but you know, if it takes a big, huge dump in the driveways, just at least kick it in the grass, man. Jaron Wilson in the house. You ever take your free air? So We do. So the guy that accused me of having bad air that corroded his rims, he did come back the other day. I had to do a thermostat in the Mustang, and he did get his wheels all refinished. The body shop that did them did a beautiful job. Is it a nice horse? I don't know. Them Amish horses, they always look like they're like half dead to me. Nothing but ribs showing, and I don't know. They got them horses have a lot of work to do around here because where the Amish live, I mean, it's like any hill you go up is like 15% grade. Yeah, I'm gonna fix the timing belt. Don't worry about it. It'll get done. It's got a long ways to go. Well, I don't think they can wash your clothes in the river, Ed, when it's frozen. And I don't really believe that they do wash them in the river, to be honest with you. The best tomatoes come out of horse manure. Well, you can grow some big leaves in horse manure. It's, very nitrogen rich. Weird Al's Amish Paradise. Oh, that's a funny song. Oh, now I'm singing it. All right, I won't sing it out loud. Did I fix the ABS on the Ford Explorer? Asked Tractor Wrangler. No, I believe the lady, I don't know if she's coming in tomorrow or Friday. I've got the wheel hub assembly here. We're going to take and do that. Yeah, that's why they call them timing belts, because you never have to do them. Have I dissected a TPMS? I mean, I've broke a ton of them off. They come in bad and you just snap them off, throw them in the garbage, put a new one in. But no, I've never, they're usually like all just gel sealed. You can't see anything in them. But let's see. Why don't I have any hot rods? Asked Chili Cosmos. That's because I don't want to be in debt the rest of my life. I'm not a hot rodder. Don't take away my man card for saying that. It's one thing I just never got into. Oh, tip them, not TPMS. Oh yeah, I've tore apart tip tip-ems before, sure. Thanks for clarifying that. Oops. Craig Clocks, he says, thanks for the recommendation on tires. You went and got them. So maybe I'm assuming you were the fella with the Honda Ridgeline that asked me about the tires. I think the tires that I recommended you will enjoy, same ones I used to run on mine. Goodyear Forterra HLs, inexpensive, wear good, and fantastic traction. The EAA chapter 3936 president with the super chat. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. How old am I? 37 or 38? I believe 38. No, because that would make me 39 this year. 37. I don't. Why do you ask me crazy questions? What year is this? Oops. I can't believe I got to do the freaking math. That shows how ridiculous I am. Yeah, I'm 38. Holy crap. Nice Jeep hat. Most people complain about the Jeep hat. I should change it. I got an SMA sticker right here. We can. There, now nobody can complain about my Jeep hat. It's an SMA hat now. Let's see. Lots of gray for a young dude. I went gray when I was 14 years old. So I started going gray back in school. Shows you're old if you need a calculator. Yeah, older, you just don't care how old you are. I'm still on this side of the sod, so it really doesn't matter, I suppose. Yeah, what year is it? Oddly enough, Mr. Green, I do have to ask myself that quite a bit. Like, what day is it? Is today Wednesday, Monday? I have no idea. They all blend together. Uh, how did I get a trophy wife like Mrs. O when, when I was gray? Well, back when I first started dating Mrs. O, back in our early years of high school or later years of high school, she had purple hair. So I guess the gray thing was like, but of course I didn't go all gray at once. You know, it was like a gray patch, and then it spread. But I suppose at least I still have it. And now it's starting to leak into my beard a little bit. How's the audio and video? Is it sucky as usual? Because it looks really sucky on my end. I'm just kind of curious. Do the words look like they're coming out of my lips, or is it like an old Japanese movie? Ah, crap. I hear somebody out in the parking lot. That means they're going to be banging on the window soon. Oh, very good. All right, good. All right. I get it. Well, I can't help the ugly face, but oh, the things are going by all zippy zap again. What type of scissor lift I have, and could I talk about it? So I assume they're talking about the lift over there on the floor. That's my lift that got me started. That's the only lift I had when I came here, and money in my pocket. That one is a Snap-on, but I believe, you know, of course, Snap-on doesn't make it. Was it Wheeltronic? Is that who makes some lifts? I think. Yeah, Wheeltronic. That's what I thought. That's who makes a lot of those lifts. There was maybe a company called Wheeltronic. It's a 7,000 pounder scissor lift. It only goes, I don't know, what, 42 inches or something like that. But it sure beat, you know, Jack and Jack stands back in the day. It's a good little lift. I'll use it in, I want to say emergencies, but, you know, if I got both lifts tied up, somebody stops in, needs, you know, tires or whatever, or doing suspension work. If you got to do any work under the car, you know, besides being dangerous and, you know, pain in the butt, it's just inconvenient. But other than that, I mean, it's a great little lift, and it's portable. So you use the power unit, you know, like a little stand you go over and hook it in the front, and that little eyelet in the front of it, and tip it back, and you can move it where you want. So for a homeowner, that thing would be fantastic. However, they're stupid expensive for what they are. I mean, I would never pay full price for one. I mean, I think they're like $3,000 or $4,000 for one of those things. I was in the right place at the right time because there was this guy who was getting a divorce, and his old lady was going to take everything, whatever. You know, that's his deal. It was brand new, $1,000. See you later. He had all the truck adapters and everything for it. Never even picked up a car. So I need to turn the heat on. I'm sorry. If it screws up the audio and stuff too much, let me know. No Lincolns in the shop? I don't know what you're talking about, Kenneth. If you're talking about like Ford Lincoln Mercury, or if you're talking about Lincoln like welders. Both my welders are Millers. Yeah, I do need some heat. I'm being a wimp. What's the temperature today in Avoca? Well, this morning we didn't have one. It just said 0, and I think it got up to about 7. Oh, Lincoln cars. Yeah, I mean, I see a few Lincolns, but not many. Uh, any more road trips planned with my brother? I don't know. It'd be nice to go down and see him on days like this because, you know, they're always doing a lot of ditch pulls and, you know, rollovers and stuff. Uh, 18 in Georgia. Well, good. It's about time you got something there, Berg. Jared wants to know, what is the most difficult job I can recall doing so far as replacing coolant hoses on an 09 Jaguar XF supercharged? Oh gosh. You wouldn't think that'd be a tough question because you'd think, all the hard ones stuck with you. I really don't know. I don't have anything where I think like, wow, that was like super difficult. Never want to do it again. I mean, I got some from like way back when I was just a young buck, but now, I mean, there's some crappy jobs I don't like doing. And one of those is gas lines and the other ones is brake lines. Those are the two crappiest jobs I don't like doing. I think because I just get too fussy. I want the, brake lines, fuel lines. They got to go back in the factory holders, factory bends, all legit. So they do frustrate. Plus they're freaking messy. You get gas all over you and brake fluid, and it's just a mess, but it's gratifying when you're done. Look at your masterpiece. Yeah, timing belt on a Honda minivan. They're hard. Don't even touch them. That's what I say. With the weather issues there, how come Volvos aren't more popular? I'm not sure, Twig, but Subarus certainly are. Probably one of the best all-wheel drive cars that I know of. And they're, they do amazingly well in our area, and they're extremely popular. Brent McLaren says he did the plugs on his 4.6 Mustang and only broke 4. Congratulations, that's a pretty good ratio. But he did get them all out. That's even better. Where are we going here? What was the worst about working on semi-trucks when I did? Everything. How's that? I'll sum it all up. I didn't like working on them simply because I just don't have the physical stature for it. I mean, you just have to, that just beats the piss out of you. You pull on a trailer or a truck and it needs, 8 tires, or, 16 tires, whatever you're doing. So, you're doing 8 tires and brakes and, brake cans and S-cams and bushings. It just whips you. Or we would bring in like town trucks and you're doing walking beams or, camelbacks, and, they're huge, they're heavy. You put on this, camelback suspension, you're using a forklift because the springs are 1,000 pounds, and it just sucks. I just hated that stuff. My dad, he loved it. And I think he hated that I hated it because I would tell him how much I hated it. I hated working on that stuff. But, I don't mind helping out, going out and helping out. But, sitting there beating out, pressing out kingpins, beating them out, new bushings, just whatever. Sarah Seplowitz, Sarah S. She writes, would it be possible to try and mention more DIY alternatives when using professional equipment, like, for example, the smoke machine? So that's something I've always kind of, I don't want to say I've struggled with. It is something I am mindful of. I'm also mindful of the fact that there are times, more often than not, when you need, the specific equipment to do a certain job. Yes, there may be alternatives. They may be, a little bit shady and dangerous. But I guess the fact of the matter is, let's say, we're working on something that has, a CAN bus problem. You absolutely have to have a scope. I've seen people try and struggle through that and say, oh, we can check with a voltmeter. Yeah, you can get your average voltage, but that doesn't tell you anything. I mean, it may tell you a little something, but it's just a matter of fact that there are certain times when you have to have, let's say a smoke machine, for example, like, Kilmer puts out a video where he's sitting there smoking a damn cigar, blowing it down the pipe. Granted that gets 3 million views, of course it is. Everybody's going to watch that, but the fact of the matter is it's ridiculous. You're not going to go get a cigar and pull off your vapor line and sit there and puff down it. Well, somebody looks for a leak or you go look for a leak yourself. I don't know. To me, that's ridiculous. But I guess what I'm getting at, Sarah, is sometimes you need the proper equipment. It's just the way it is, you know. There are instances, though, where we will use something, let's say that's, you know, out of reach of the normal DIYer, and there's other alternatives. And I actually show that in a video coming up, actually on this Chevy Tahoe right behind me. You know, I bust out just a regular voltmeter, you know, just because it can be done that way. Yeah, I like using my other one because it's got a bigger screen, but, you know, I will keep that in mind, though. That's a good point that you bring that up. The EAA Chapter 936 president says, not smart enough to do this. GM 3800 coolant bypass elbow broken. Section is now buried in the lower intake manifold as a memory. Is that okay? Well, Pat, I'll tell you, you are not the first guy to leave that little chunk of plastic floating around in that lower intake manifold. I have taken a lot of those elbows out and replaced them with the new, you know, metal elbows. And I've taken, you know, leaky metal ones out, and, you know, usually the Dexacool will take good care of that plastic for you. If, you know, I mean, worst case, you know, it gets in the heater core or in the radiator, you're talking a chunk of plastic this big. If it goes through the impeller on the water pump, you know, big deal. It's usually complete mush anyways. Even when you get it out, it just crumbles in your fingers. So between you and me, I'd say leave it. And it's usually just the half on the, you know, past the O-ring. So you're only talking a little sliver of plastic. Not the end of the world. As they say in New York, forget about it. And not even from New York City. Video compilation of tricks your grandma taught me. You guys know about grandma? Have I mentioned her in videos before? Smart lady, teaches you a lot. Highest mileage vehicle I worked on, when I worked for my dad, we would see vehicles into the, you know, well into the 1,000,000 miles, 1.5 million. So if you're looking at it in that sense. Where's Hannah been? Hannah is at school. She's at becoming a nurse. Oh. How often do I go work with Keith? Being that he works outside, I like to go visit him when it's a tad warmer out. But, you know, this time of year he does get to go into the repair shops, but he does do, you know, a fair amount of work outside. So I like to wait till it's warmer, but I'll probably go visit him here shortly. I'm sure I haven't seen him in a while. How many split rims did I change in my career? Enough. You know, the container trucks always ran like those 10-120s, you know, with split rims. Dayton wheels. I've only ever seen one come undone, though. Fair weather friend Keith. Nah, he's a friend out there. I talk to him daily. But I'll be darned if I'm going to go down and visit him when it's, you know, 10 below zero out. I mean, I like him and all. Not that much. So that's a popular question. Do I watch YouTube? I do. What channels? All kinds of channels. One of my favorites is Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link. Who is Hannah and Josh? They were my employees. D6 Spanky writes that she's going to get a leveling kit for 2016 Tundra. Must have the droopy front end. In my opinion, what I like about, or I guess the leveling kits that I like are the types of kits where you don't have to disassemble the strut, and they are more DIY friendly. So there's a couple different types of leveling kits that I've seen that I've installed for customers. You have the one where you remove the front strut and then you bolt the spacer to the top of the strut and then reinstall it. Those I like. I have done other ones. I just did one recently for a lady with a 12 or 13 Dodge, I guess it would be, somewhere in that era, where she bought the spacers that went on top of the springs. So you got to pull the struts, disassemble them, put in the spacer, you know, impossible for a DIYer. with those, truck struts, the springs are super heavy. You have to have a really good spring compressor, take it apart, install them. Of course, then, everything's all stretched out from there. I prefer the kind that bolt to the top of the strut. How's the chainsaw with the China carb running? It is still running fantastic, Mitchell. Of course, it's had to have a little bit of tweaking here and there. No, I do not have my YouTube play button yet. I don't know when you get it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it when I do get it. Maybe put it on a gold chain, wear it around. You said you hate hot rods. So what sleeper car would you mind having? It's not that I don't hate hot rods. I hate a lot of them that I see because I've mentioned it like 1,000 times. Everybody puts every nickel they have to make the thing nice and shiny, but mechanically it's an absolute, chabaco on the ones I've seen. I'm sure that's due to, the geographics of where we live. We're not living next to, $1 million homes here. So everybody gets their old, T-bucket and they put it together and it's shiny and it's got a, chrome valve covers, but, the buck stops there. What would I have for a sleeper? Probably like an RX-7. If I could choose one with a big 1.3 liter in it. Pretty fun, fast little cars. That's what I would have. A Mazda. Yep, I would go with a rotary. Absolutely. You can build some serious horsepower out of them, 1,300 cc's. No LS swap. Keep her original. Twin rotor, baby. I have worked on a couple of them, Kenneth, to answer your question on that. Yeah, rotaries rev forever, that's for sure. How's Neil doing? I assume you're talking about my Snap-on guy. He's doing pretty good. Still stops in. Do rotaries burn oil? Yes, they burn a tremendous amount of oil and fuel. I think a bone stock RX-7 might only get 14 miles a gallon. Do I work on Subarus? Oh yeah, all the time. Let's see, DVD, the DMC, right? It's 97S10 with a 2.2, colder temps, have to add a crank, no start issue only twice. It gets up to about 20, it starts and runs fine. Coils, plugs, and coil, or what's it say? Coils, wires, plugs, and original, change them tomorrow. Pump runs on the right track. Yeah, I guess if I'm understanding this right, if you're going to do an ignition tune-up on it, it certainly can't hurt if they're original and you are going to change them. At 97, I can only imagine that it's due. Those 2.2s are a little bit of a pain to do, just given where the coil pack is. If I'm thinking of the right one on a 97, I believe it's way down on the side. I would say if you had a crank no start until it gets up to about 20 degrees, it may be worthwhile to plug in a scan tool, even a generic one that can read just OBD2 data, and check out your coolant temp sensor. Coolant temp sensors on that vintage GM were pretty notorious for going bad and for skewing. So let's say if your coolant temperature sensor won't go below, let's say 60 degrees Fahrenheit and it's in the 20s, it's not going to start. So that's would be one data pit I would look at with those symptoms, because you say it gets up to 20 and starts runs fine. And they can do that. They can skew and not throw a code. So it does sound like you are on the right track. Is putting a car in neutral without using the clutch bad? It depends on if you have to push past the synchronizer. I would say no. I mean, you drive big trucks, you don't use the clutch at all, only a start and stop. but you have to have that mesh just right, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, you can usually feel it where it'll just float out of gear. You start, pulling hard and trying to get past, the synchronizer to get that gear to stop, then yeah, you're going to start doing some damage. But I guess if I was debating that, I would just push the clutch in. Yep, Chad writes, get the wires through the passenger side fender well. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought they were buried kind of down there. Frank M. Tech's up in here. What's up, Frank M. Tech? Let's see. Oops. I'm going to purchase an MS908 BT from AutoZone. Do you have any additional info on how do you feel about purchase from Amazon with approximately $400 savings, but out of their vendor listings? I guess I'm not 100% sure what you mean on that, customs. So what I would do is I would double check. So you're looking at an Autel scan tool, obviously. And if it's $400 cheaper on Amazon, perhaps what I would do is I would make sure, oops, let me click back here. I would make sure that the Autel that they're selling on Amazon, that you have support in the US. Now I know with Launch, you can have Launch China and Launch USA. You call Launch USA, they won't give it any support. I'm not 100% sure if Autel is like that also. If they have Autel USA, Autel China, even though, it's the same tool, I would check into that. I mean, if you can get it for $400 cheaper on Amazon, as long as you have the same, same warranty, same tech support available to you, then I would definitely save the money and purchase it from them. That's my opinion on that. Robert Davis writes, he has a 13 Ford Focus that's slow to heat up. So that's interesting, Robert. Appreciate the super chat, as I do from all of you guys that choose to do so. And I guess while I'm on that subject, don't feel that it's necessary by any means. So Robert makes a good point here, about his car that's slow to heat up. I actually did a video, got it right in my pocket. I'll show you what it looks like. There it is. There's my video on my jump drive. I did one today, and it's all about the car that has no heat. I think you may find some good information in that video, Robert. I don't know where you live. I don't know what your outside temperature is, but that is a super common complaint this time of year. My heat's not that good. I don't have good heat. And I demonstrate in this video, about warming up cars, which you can't talk about that because you can't warm up your car because the internet says so. And then, also we talk quite a bit in that video about various things. Starting a car in cold temperature, having the fan way up on high, heat exchange, watching the thermostat, making sure the thermostat works. So in this vehicle, it was a Ford Explorer 2007 or 9. Customer complaint was, low heat. My heat sucks. So I run down through the whole thing, what we check for, what we do, and we demonstrate it all on video. So hopefully you guys will find that useful. Hopefully, I don't know. The video might suck. There's a lot of videos I don't put out because I just think they suck when they're done. But there are a lot of variables. Everything from broken blend doors, plugged heater cores, bad thermostat, low coolant. There are a lot of variables, but assuming everything is okay, coolant wise, blend door wise, then when it gets cold like this, you can expect it. Do I love Lamborghini? I'd love to own one. All right, good night, Rob from One Auto. Thanks for hanging around. When am I putting out that video I just talked about? I don't know, probably within a week. I got a couple videos lined up. Been falling behind on my videos. I think I got 2 of them up there for you, all lined up. And then, of course, on Mrs. O's van that left her hoof in it, I did a video on that too. And in that video, we explained the dual charge mode on a Honda Alternator. So give you a little insight as to what's happening. Again, guys, don't feel obligated to send super chats. They are appreciated, but don't. It's not necessary. But DVD DMC writes, thank you, Eric. Some have said it was fuel line freeze up. When it is running, it runs perfectly fine, no issues. By the way, thanks for the wheel balance answer last week. That is my pleasure to try to answer your questions the best I can. I highly doubt your gas lines are freezing. You would have to have a pretty substantial amount of water in it to do so. Not that it's impossible, but as much as people portray that they have bad gas, water in their gas, I think that is more of a guess more often than it is an actual proof diagnosis. However, I've had vehicles come in with a pretty insane amount of water in the bottom, far beyond what isopropyl alcohol is going to fix. Jason P, love the videos. Keep up the awesome work. Jeep for life. That's right. It's a Jeep thing. A lot of you wouldn't understand. '07 Town and Country. Can you change the engine out the top, or does it have to go out the bottom? Gosh, didn't we do a video on one of those? Every one I've ever done, I pull out the top. Mike, the flat rate master, he writes that he had a run on cars with water in the fuel. So I wonder if that would, I mean, were they getting it all sourced locally? That would be, I would assume so. If you're getting them all in your shop or seeing, a bunch of them come through, that would stand to reason. If your source you're getting it from is garbage, then, garbage in, garbage out. Joe says he's making pigs in a blanket and watching SMA. Oh, pigs in a blanket, huh? I like eggs in a nest. That's one of my favorite breakfasts. Is that a real word? Breakfasts? Breakfasts? Do I do extended warranty work? I do. Like as far as aftermarket warranty, yes. Got a super chat from a guy who says, stop sending the darn super chats. Make a video of me taking the beater Jeep up to the pond in the snow. The old beater Jeep's got a few dents in it. We were out ripping some donuts the other day with the kids, and we got in a little bit of a pickle up on the power line. And the Jeep just kept sliding and got it pinned up against a couple trees, and I wasn't walking, so especially when you got 3 kids with you and like nobody's dressed for the weather. But we got it out, but you got a few scrapes down the side now. But the old Jeep, she'll rip donuts like a banshee. Oh yeah, the kids love doing donuts, so like I'm always afraid they're gonna fly out the door or something. But old Trinity, she's hanging off the the grab handle up top, pretty much pulling 9 G's, and I'm like, man, don't let go. So we have fun, beat their heads off the windows a couple times. We got to do some trail riding. Joe says, what's the highest back pressure I've seen on a clogged exhaust? I think I've got a few videos on those, Joe, and I believe we were seeing it in the 45 to 50 PSI range, somewhere's around there. Do I watch Roadkill? I do not. Again, I don't have TV at home, so. Let's see. Oh, man, somebody had to mention Krispy Kreme. I wish I could order Krispy Kreme on the internet. I tell you what. That would be amazing. If somebody knows how to do that, send me a link. Oh, Roadkill's on Motor Trend on YouTube. So, no, I guess I haven't watched it. Sorry. Now I feel like a jerk. My favorite knife maker? Probably Old Timer would be one of my favorites. Some of my favorite knives are Old Timers. I do have some buck knives, buck brand knives. And one of my favorite hunting knives that I like so much I don't even take with me because I'm afraid to lose it is my Cutco. I got a fixed blade 6-inch Cutco. I believe it's a 6-inch, 5 or 6-inch Cutco. They're made right here in New York, and they're one of my favorites too. So I don't know, old timer overall is probably my favorite. Have I ever worked on a DeLorean? No, I haven't. But if one comes in with a broken flux capacitor, I will give it my best. What was my first gun? My first gun that was actually mine, like, mine to have, wasn't just like borrowing my dad's 22 or something like that, was a Remington 870 pump 20 gauge. Of course, 870 is a pump. And I still have it with both barrels. How close to Corning? About 20 minutes. Oh, Griff Hall, he's the one that sent us the Michigan hoodies. We still wear those, Griff. Appreciate it. And of course, people are always like, oh, I see you're a Michigan fan. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. 1.21 gigawatts at the shop. That's right. Send Marty down with it. We'll take her for a shake. When's the last time I worked on a flathead Ford? Likely never. I own a flathead. My farm is a flathead. And so isn't my snowblower. The Briggs, snowblower, that's a flathead. Ever go to the Corning Museum? Yes, I have. And anybody that visits our area, if you have the time to go to the Corning Museum of Glass, plan on a couple days. And I have not worked on a natural gas vehicle. No, that's a good question. The state around here actually has them. They're little Hondus, I believe, are natural gas. But what's the local watering hole in Avoca? There is no bar. Well, yeah, I guess there's the Legion. They got the Legion up the road. But no, if you want to go to the bar, you got to go to Bath. And there's a couple there, 3 or 4. Mrs. O and I, we frequent I don't want to say we're frequent, like it sounds like we're a bunch of drunks, but we go to the Liberty Street pub. That's our favorite. If we go out to dinner and we're going to stick around Bath, we'll usually go down to the pub. Am I busy? As Frank M Tech, I am, Frank. I got plenty of work to do. Parking lot's full, and I'm getting my butt kicked tomorrow. I don't know why I scheduled so much for tomorrow. I do not use Blue Devil additives for whoever asked that. You wanted to know? Oh, Josh Jones, tell me you can get Krispy Kremes online. Because he just says, you want to know how to order Krispy Kreme online? Yeah, I want to know how to order Krispy Kreme online. Or if I could order a soft serve ice cream from Amazon, I would. Oops. This is a CV box. I've actually got to do a CV shaft tomorrow in a 2012 Odyssey. I think I'll do a video on it because it's kind of the strong, sticky stuff. I don't know. I ordered a factory Honda CV axle for this one, a brand new one. I don't know if the box smells like the reefer in those or not, but the aftermarket ones sure do. Krispy Kreme on Amazon? Shut up. You guys gotta be freaking kidding me. I'm clicking. I'm sorry. I'm ignoring you right now because I'm going on Amazon. If I can get Krispy Kremes on Amazon, boy, you're gonna see me so happy. Let me see. Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme. Oh, come on, give me. Get out of town. Those are K cups. I don't want no K cups. I want Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm sorry. I'm ignoring you guys right now, but Krispy Kreme donuts glazed. That's chocolate pie. I'm not seeing. Oh, baby right there. 4 dozen for $64.62. I'm gonna be doing some research on this. $153. I mean, I love Krispy Kreme. I don't love $153 Krispy Kreme. Oh, this is some good news right here. This is some good news. Look for the pack of 12. All right, I'm going back on real quick. Just bear with me, folks, here. 12 pack. Let's see. Some cinnamon buns. Did I mean Krispy Kreme? Because I spelled cream with a C like a moron. Oh, I'm so going to be searching this. I'll get back to you guys. I don't want to, ignore you too much. Oh, man. Yeah, you licked the paper clean, Jared. Me too. I licked the box clean. I tell you, man, Krispy Kremes they're straight from heaven. I swear. They're made by angels. Crown or fluid film for the DIY? I would say either one, pick your poison. They're about the same price. It's your choice. Whichever is easier for you to get, I suppose. Oh yeah, if you show up at SMA, bring the Krispy Kreme if you're driving by one. I tell you what, I'll let you come right in. A Krispy Kreme burger. I think I seen that on Good Mythical Morning. They did some. Why did I buy a Tundra instead of a Taco? I wanted a full size truck, especially having 5 of us. Me and Mrs. O and the 3 chillins. Tacos get pretty small pretty quick. If I just had to pick one, on my own, I would love to have a Tacoma. Push button diff lock and everything. I would drive either one, but I've always wanted a Tundra. Say I am live right now. I am live right now. Oh, that's Dave Sage. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, all right, Dave. I'm sorry, I didn't recognize it. Wasn't clicking here. Did I enjoy the Model V8? Thanks for reminding me. So this fellow stops by on his way from Ontario, Canada, for whatever reason, watches my channel, which I don't understand because this guy built a Chevy V8, the entire thing. It's like this big, and everything, the water pump, the radiator, this thing's liquid cooled and runs better than most cars I work on. Just absolutely brilliant. I would love to have that kind of talent. And then to find out, electrical engineer, whatever, we're not going to give his whole story, but just seeing that model in it's just amazing. The guy machined everything, every connecting rod, every piston, camshaft, these little mini rock arms on it that weren't, the rock arms couldn't have been, as big as that fuse. Just amazing. So yeah, he is a YouTuber that stopped in. He stopped in the same day I was doing the video on that sport track with the speed sensor problem. At what point do you decide to put a new hat in rotation? It's basically whatever hat I can find. As Mrs. O hates it when I say this, when I send them into the laundry service, because she's a laundry lady. She really hates it when I say that. But so that my hats will be in, when she takes care of my laundry. So I'll just grab one. I'll keep them out. I only have a specific spot where I can hang up my sweatshirt and my hat because they're not supposed to touch her coat, because apparently the stink from my coat will get on her coat. So my hat usually hangs there, and if it's missing, I know it's the laundry service came and took it. So then I got to go in my closet and find another one. Don't tell Mrs. O I called it the laundry service. You can tell her I say it all the time. Anything to get a rise out of her. Get her all pumped up. Ooh, Toyo MTs. They are great tires. Toyo Open Country MTs, yes. Ice cream. Yeah, I do need to stop and get some ice cream. Somebody just reminded me. All right, VW Renchi, you know my email. You send me that Amazon link. Because if you're getting a dozen donuts, man, I couldn't even imagine. You imagine the little UPS guy shows up with your Krispy Kremes? Oh, man. Mrs. O drop a lip on me. Do I use studded tires in the winter? I don't personally. I have a lot of customers that do. So, but personally, I don't. My favorite donut flavor, Krispy Kreme, glazed, just plain old, plain old. Do I get mad when tires show up? No, I don't. I look at it as paying to keep the heat on. Yeah, I would go down and just buy some Krispy Kreme, but we don't have one. We got a Dunkin' Donuts, and their donuts are nasty. Oh, Burger said something about let's see. Don't mind me for just a moment. I think Berg left a link in here. Waiting for this to open. Oh man. Oh, I think this is it, guys. Let's see. Oh, hallelujah, it is. Oh, but they only got 3 stars of review. Let me post a link for everybody here. Just a minute. I'll get you guys a link to the Krispy Kreme donut page. If I can get this thing to start working here. Oh, this is it. Oh, I better get to this. Jay Zeus, he says, oops. Get it back up on the screen. How can you diagnose a possible dual mass flywheel noise coming from the back of the engine, knocking noise increases with RPM, but goes in and out at idle? So I'm assuming, well, yeah, dual mass, I guess you can't assume they're diesel anymore. So that is pretty interesting. I would want to know, I guess, a couple things, how does the clutch feel and does the noise change? Let's say, if you have let's see, knock noise with RPM, goes in and out at idle. I guess I would try to determine whether the noise is, indeed coming from the flywheel. So with your dual mass, I would assume, if you start letting up on the clutch and, get the springs to collapse in that dual mass flywheel and keep constant pressure on it, if it was still knocking at that point, I would doubt that it's coming from the flywheel. It may be one of those instances where, you've narrowed it down to that section, clutch flywheel section. It may come down to the point where, pull the training out and actually inspect the dual mass flywheel to see, because they certainly can knock, they can really get to shuddering. I would just be curious, so if you could hold it under a slight load, to keep all the play out of that dual mass portion of it and see if your knocking noise is there or changes. That may give you, a pretty good indication as to if it is coming from that area. Yeah, I know you do got to get Krispy Kreme fresh from the store, but when all you got's Amazon, better than nothing. Did that link post? Yeah, that link post. Do I appreciate it when a car comes in clean and washed? John, I do. However, that rarely happens. I do have some customers that just keep their car clean. And it is much nicer, working on them when they are clean. I'll give it that. He says the noise doesn't change with clutch application. How about if you start letting the clutch up and load that flywheel up a little bit? I'd be curious to see if it changed then. Open a Krispy Kreme attached to the shop. Yeah, I should buy into the franchise. I tried to get Mrs. O to get us a Taylor ice cream machine, which we've talked about a dozen times because that's my next love is soft serve ice cream. We could do a drive-through window right where she's sitting right at that desk. Boom, turn around, ice cream machine, turn around, out the window, $2, move on. You know, we could be doing ice cream and auto repair. I mean, who wouldn't? I would go there. If there was an auto repair shop down the road that sold ice cream, I'd go there and get my oil changed. That's no lie. What is a taco? We're talking about Tacoma. So if you take Toyota Tacoma and shorten it up, the guys in the forum call them tacos for whatever reason. We can make that Taylor ice cream happen. Oh man, I tell you, if they weren't so involved in as far as cleaning and stuff daily, you know, if I could have a Taylor ice cream machine or any brand soft serve ice cream machine, and let's say it only needed to be cleaned once a week, you know, I could tolerate that. But you know, if you had to tear it down every night to clean it to keep it from getting cruddy, that's kind of a pain. But man, it'd be worth it. But I'm pretty sure Twin Kiss down the road here at the ice cream store, they would be mad if I got me an ice cream machine. Because I'm probably their #1 customer. I stop one, maybe 2 or 3 times a day, but at least one. Have I heard about today's new changes on YouTube? I have not. I don't know what did YouTube change. They're always changing. See you later, Berg. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy the snow. You have to pull the engine on a 98 S10 4.3 to remove the oil pan. I always just drop the front axle out of them. Do I have an ice cream addiction? A slight one. Try 3M brake clean. That's the good stuff. I could buy like 10 cans of wherever for the price of 1 can at 3M. Let's see what's Alan. He writes, you can't beat a visit to the Krispy Kreme store where they make them donuts fresh on the assembly line. You can grab one when it falls off the conveyor. If I worked there, I would die. I'm just going to put it that right on the open. I wouldn't make it past the first week. Oh, Castle Shop Solve. No, I do agree with that guy. He says he uses Castle Shop Solve for brake clean. That is some fantastic stuff. I do have some. I don't have a Castle guy anymore, so I'm preserving what I have. I only got a couple cases left. I do like Castle Shop Solve. It's probably one of the best brake clean type, you know, sprays on the market. It doesn't leave any residue behind. That's what I like. And it seems to be plastic safe. So I use it on a lot of my handguns, and it does not discolor the plastic. Of course, don't take my word for it. Test it in an inconspicuous area first, and I'm not held liable if it turns your gun all white and cloudy. DVD DMC says I got a dozen on the way. Let's see how it goes. I will post it on Facebook. I appreciate that you're sending me some Krispy Kreme donuts from Amazon. That is just amazing. I'd rather have that than $1,000. I hope a whole bunch of people ain't sending Krispy Kreme donuts, though. Actually, kind of, I do. No, don't everybody send Krispy Kreme donuts. That's amazing. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to post that on Facebook, so I hope you follow us on Facebook. Crud cutter, yeah, that is a good gun cleaner too, Frank. So let's see, who was it? A gun scrubber. So essentially, you know, the gun version of brake parts cleaner. They do make a synthetic safe gun scrubber, but once I discovered that the Shop Solve does not mess up guns, I started using that. So Yes, I will get fat. I'm fully aware of that, but I'm gonna die a happy man. Just hope it's quick. Be the 600-pound mechanic. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I hope they're good when I get them too. My Yale forklift, no, it runs. It's got a blown hydraulic hose right now for the tilt on the lift cylinder, but yeah, no, it runs fine. 135 cubic inches of it. What is Panther Pea and where can I buy some? Panther Pea is the generic name given to any uh, Panther Pea, any penetrating oil. I had to think about it. Gosh, we call it all Panther Pea. So whether you're talking WD-40 Croil or, Knocker Loose or, Busted Nut or whatever other flavors there are out there, we always call it Panther Pea. I don't know if you can get legit Panther Pea. Maybe that's on Amazon too. Yeah, PB Blaster. Yeah. Do I have a camera attached to my inspection machine in New York? We're supposed to, but I don't because I don't need the man watching me, so I don't plug it in. The camera is wadded up in the bottom of the shelf out there. They don't make a Panther Pea called Bustin' Nut. They should. Maybe I should make some and patent it. Bustin' Nut. I think they do. They got to. I mean, that seems like it would be a penetrating oil. Screw loose, yeah, whatever. Neighbor's cats won't leave you alone. Speaking of cats, I had to put my cat, old Trixie, our black cat, we had to have her put down. Poor ghost. I hate cats, but Trixie was my favorite cat. Use Deep Creek Panther Pea made by Seafoam. I've seen that stuff in the white can. Let's see. Yeah, there's a poor thing about old Trixie. She's a good cat, but she ended up getting a facial tumor, and it like went very quickly. She had like a little bump on her head. Next thing you know, it's like, in a week, got huge in the vet. So there's nothing they can do with them. That they very rarely live after they remove them, or they come back even more aggressive. So it's kind of tough thing. You don't like putting down animals, but it grew down like above her eye, and she wasn't eating, was hiding. So obviously it was affecting her, but yeah, it sucks. Yeah, Croyle sells Croyle. If you're gonna buy Croyle, you got to buy it right from Kano Laboratories. Kano, Kano Laboratories. Cheapest place to buy Croyle is from Croyle. He likes cats because they take their own baths. Yeah, they do. So old Trixie, the cat we just had to put down, she was a licker, man. That cat would lick you all the time, and her tongue is like freaking grinder. Come over middle of the night, like lick you on the face. It's like, seriously, cat? Have I ever tried to snap on Zeus scam tool? No, I don't have that kind of money. So I will likely never own one. Oh yeah, that's right, Tractor Wrangler. I can share them on YouTube. Duh, in the community tab. I forgot. Yeah, I can make a little post when the Krispy Kreme donuts show up. How old am I? I thought we already answered that. We got out the calculator to determine I'm around 38 years old. Snap-on should give me a Zeus. Yeah, right. They wouldn't want to do that. Trust me. Have I seen Scanner Danner's video where he had 29 volts at ECM? I don't recall seeing that one. No. Yes, I bow hunt. Yep. My favorite type of vehicle to work on, I would have to say that is Subaru. I enjoy working on Subarus because they're super, super easy to work on. For whatever reason, a lot of shops around here don't like them. I think they were made by a mechanic. I mean, how else can you have the intake on the top and the exhaust on the bottom and everything else is easy to get to? Transmissions out in an hour, motors laying on the floor in an hour. Yeah, I'm saying Subaru. Don't badmouth Dunkin' Donuts because I'll hurt Keith's feelings. He is a Dunkin' Donuts. That's the only reason that place is still open. Do I watch Schrodinger's box? Sometimes if I want to go on for a good laugh and watch him insult everybody and call them asshats and mindless whatever he calls them, Haynes jockeys, you know, I'll go on to catch the banter because it's usually full of good stuff like that. But do I frequent Reddit just rolled up into the shop? No, I do not. Emily Harrison writes, I believe it's a girl, I'm assuming, hates how Subarus axles have pins in them. Well, don't get mad at them, just get the tool for them. I enjoy those because you can have an axle shaft out in about 5 minutes on one of them. And if you have a CV shaft roll pin punch for Subarus, you'll think life is much better. So if you go over into the punch drawer, you will find your Subaru CV shaft roll pin punch. This will make life a lot easier. I've had this one so long, it's actually starting to get mushroomed. I don't know what the part number is because there's not one on the tool. I don't see any markings on it. So you can use a regular roll pin punch. Like, I think I got some roll pin punches here. But that'll make your life a lot easier on Subarus that do use that pin. Not all of them do. Oh yeah, people stole that video like crazy. The one where the oil coming or the antifreeze coming out of the oil pan. Yeah, don't worry about it. They want the video, you can have them. So you can use your standard, roll pin punches. So they got the little dip on the end. These ones are these are made by Mac. Or if you get the Subaru one, it's not made by Subaru, but somebody makes it, and it makes life a lot easier. So just FYI, Emily, I think it was. Hope I didn't get that wrong. Not good with names. So that's that. That makes life easy on the Subies. We gotta be coming up on our 2-hour mark, ain't we? Mrs. O, purple hair pick or timing belt. I probably have a picture of her with purple hair. I don't have one here. I know I got one at home though. Snowblower? No, that's not my snowblower. That's for a customer. Do we still have old Pearl? Old fat Pearl? Yeah, we got fat Pearl. She's at home, fatter than ever. She stays home. Oh, that's Sam from the Tool Hut. Good night, Sam. Didn't you know you're up in here? Have I broke the Mac ratchet? Yes, I did break it one time, and I was being mean to it. Oh, maybe I'm repeating questions. Add it to my Amazon store. That roll pin. I'll have to see if I can find it. Oops. Lost my video feed. There we go. How come I don't own a Subaru? Yeah, that's a good question. I said that I enjoy working on them. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Subaru, Honda, maybe because I don't want to change the head gaskets. I don't know. I don't know why. If I had a good deal on a Subaru, I certainly would buy one. Vanessa likes driving vans. So, yeah, I don't know. I would certainly not be opposed to drive one. Any cool videos coming up? So the only ones I got coming up are on Mrs. O's van when it left her riding the old Shoe Leather Express. I've got one here on this old Chevy that was towed in. That had kind of a neat problem. Well, not really neat. It was like a 2-minute fix. I'll give you guys a clue. It was a no start. Let you look at it. Now forget about it. We got that. Here's the other part of your clue. Diagnosed it in under a minute with a scope on a rope, and then we've got a Hyundai Kia video. Kia, I think it was, with some ABS problems coming in. Got a video on that one. I don't remember what else. The ground. Everybody says you got a bad ground, you got a bad ground, but how do you know what ground it is and where it is? Because there's hundreds of them on the car. Hopefully in this video that's coming out, we'll be able to, help you determine that, because the symptoms were it would crank, it'd crank just fine. Turn on the headlights, the gauges would flicker, the one headlight would turn on, the other one lit up dim, the brake lights would come on, turn on the blower motor, the windows wouldn't work. So, how do you know, where you're going other than, just a big fat guess. So we grabbed the scope on a rope and learned a little bit about voltage drop. So hopefully that will help you. I do know often that people are quick to assume and quick to jump on the you got a bad ground train, I call it. So car comes in, it's got a problem. Well, it's got a bad ground. I cleaned them all up. Well, there's no way you cleaned them all up because there's probably at least 100 grounds on this thing. So that's just me complaining, I guess. Not really complaining, but you know what I'm saying. Sam's Choice Brake Clean. Really? Sam's Choice Brake Clean. Hourly rate, $70. Who's older, me or the laundry service lady? Ooh, ladies, so you gotta be careful there. You don't want to have her hear you call her the laundry service lady. But I am older. I think, but see, Vanessa, I don't know how old is she, what, 27 or something? No, she can't be 27. I'm 38. I don't know how old she is. She was born on the first day of summer. I know her birthday. She is, I think I'm 3 years older than her. Yeah, somewhere's around that neighborhood. What was wrong with the Mini? It had a coolant temperature sensor problem. That's what was wrong with it. That's a lot of gray hair for 38. That's a lot of gray hair, but at least I got it all. That's what I'll say. My hair hasn't become scared of my eyebrows yet. What's the dealer rate? Dealer is around here like 100, smidge over 100. Let's see. No, she ain't gonna kill me if I tell her age. I just don't know it. 35, I believe. I always think she's 27, so she thinks I'm great because she's like, people say, how old is she? I'm like, I don't know, 27. For some reason, she stopped aging at 27 in my mind for some reason, but I'm 34 and someone asked if I was 50. Oh man. I get that quite a bit. People think you're older than you are, but I still act like a child, so I think that counts for something. You did not see part 2 of the Ford Explorer with the Moog hubs and speed sensor. That's because part 2 is not out, Jimmy. I'm still waiting for the lady to come back so I can put the hub in it. How old is Sheba? 4. I think she's just about 4 years old. Do I use a thermal imager? I don't even own one. But I will record that Ford Explorer when it comes back in for the hub. just so we can have some closure. And also, we're going to plug that sensor in, probe into the wires with it plugged in to see if there's a difference between the impedance of the ABS module measuring the AC voltage versus the high impedance of the Pico, which I think we're going to discover once it's plugged in, there will be no signal there. No, the sensor is faulty, Joshua. 110%. That sensor is bad. We've proved that, over and over again in the video. The wheel speed sensor on the passenger side is bad. The ABS module's fine. The wiring's fine. We proved all of that in the video. The fact is, I bought OEM speed sensors for it, and the OEM speed sensor will only fit in the OEM hub. It does not fit in the Moog hubs. So I bought some aftermarket speed sensors. They too are the length of the OEM. So it would be ridiculous for me to try to fashion some kind of shim and this and that. Just knock the wheel bearing off it, throw it in the scrap metal, and pop a new one on. Bob's your uncle. So yeah, definitely, Jimmy. We did fix the driver's side for sure. That was proved in the video, even though we didn't exhibit the symptoms of unwanted ABS activation because the ABS light was on, so naturally it wouldn't work. But we could clearly see on a scan tool the driver's side did not work until it hit almost 4 miles per hour. Pretty classic, rust jacking. We pulled it out, cleaned the sensor, put it back in. That's good. Now the air gap from the tone ring to the sensor has been, reestablished, and we can see on the scan data that we could turn that wheel real slow. We could read down to, 1 mile per hour. So that is fixed. I definitely agree with you. I'm glad you're following. Did I just say Bob's your uncle? I did. I hope you really have an Uncle Bob too. Let's see. What's my favorite screwdriver? I don't think I really have one. See, Aaron Savage, you got an Uncle Bob, so Bob's your uncle. Yeah, that's the truth. Oh, I did put out a new video. Let me see. I'll pop a link here because maybe some of you folks have not seen it. If you like my dogs, it was a video on my dogs. They're outside. Let me see. See if I can get you a link. I can learn how to type here. There it is. I'm all wonky here. There you go. That's the video. Some have seen, some probably haven't. Favorite tool? I don't have one. My favorite tool is my noodle, because without that, all the other tools are worthless. Jared Wilson prefers snap-on screwdrivers. I like snap-on screwdrivers. I have them. Snap-on comfort grips. Got the full 5-piece set, 6-piece set, whatever. I do like them. I think their Phillips heads grip very well, but I think they wear out very quickly, which is not a big deal because, you wear down, your Phillips tip on your snap-on screwdriver. You give it back to the guy and he gives you a new one. Or as my Mac man says, they just give you the shaft, because you don't get a new screwdriver. They just press a new shaft in it. Last I knew. So yeah, I do agree. Their Phillips head screwdrivers do bite good, but they wear out very quickly, in my opinion. No, Bob is not my uncle. Do I ever charge by the job instead of by the hour? The majority of my jobs are sold by the job. Oh yeah, Mike said he's watched that a couple times. Watched that video on the dogs a couple times. They seem to look when the plane and the helicopter. Yeah, it happened to be in that video. Mercy flight helicopter was going by, so I think it was wicked loud. Well, they were checking that out. Do I have a bass boat? I don't. I don't have any boats. When am I going to get on a plane? Right now on YouTube, I'm actually watching a YouTube channel called Captain Joe. So he is a captain of an Airbus or a pilot, I suppose. But his videos are great. If you guys haven't checked that out, Captain Joe. So he does a lot of technical videos on airplanes. Like, I had no idea that they could dump all their fuel out to make an emergency landing. I mean, they're worried about us driving around with a gas cap, and you got an Airbus 380 or whatever it is up in the sky just dumping out a few thousand gallons. So that's pretty interesting. So I figured once I learned about, the different types of wing de-icing and stuff that they do, I might not be as timid to get on a plane if I can understand a little bit about how they're going on. And currently, I know where they keep the turds in the plane. So when you take a dump, I know how the airplane toilet works because I watch Captain Joe's videos. So pretty neat channel. But apparently that they only have to dump the fuel when they have to make like an emergency landing instead of flying in a holding pattern to burn up the fuel. Like let's say somebody on the plane is like, oh, I'm in labor, and now they got to land right here. Well, the weight they take off at, they can't land with that weight without risking damage to the landing gear, from what I'm understanding. So they dump their fuel and then they land. Or they can actually land, but then if they land overweight, the plane has to go through a full inspection. Now, Captain Joe his channel is much, much bigger than mine. He has a big following. Yeah, no, I would not go skydiving. I'm not. If I get in a plane, I sure as heck ain't gonna jump out of it. And I was talking to Wyatt, my buddy. So he's a pilot. He flies around. And I told him, I said, I wish they just let me bring a parachute on a plane. But he says, well, if you try to jump out of one of them planes at 450 miles an hour, it just doesn't end well. Oh, if I could have one tool I currently don't have, what would it be? Oh, man. That's a tough one. I would love to have my own wheel alignment machine. I guess that's the first thing that comes to mind right offhand. Is probably I would like to have a wheel alignment machine. Oh, hold on a minute, guys. I gotta go out and start my car. Getting the nipply out there. Cold, man. No, I didn't drive the Tundra. No, Tundra doesn't have remote start. I don't have remote start in any of my vehicles. I will not install remote start in any of my vehicles. And I think you guys are going to see in an upcoming video. I got a Ford Explorer towed in out there, Sport Track, and it's a no start. And guess what? Big old rat's nest mess is under the dash. You guessed it. Oh man, if there was you could probably leave a trail of Krispy Kreme donuts up to an airplane. I'd get on it. He said he does not have any ASCs. No, I do not have any ASCs. I've never been to Wisconsin. Bunch of aftermarket crap, that's right. Splice and tape professional install, that's right. Give me some Scotch locks. We'll put that baby right in 10 minutes in the parking lot. Oh, we're going by too quick here. My highest bowling score, you automatically assume I bowl, and you're right, but I'm not a good bowler. Sometimes me and Mrs. O will take the chillins down to the local bowling alley that smells like stale beer and old cigarettes, and I'll sometimes crack a 100. I usually start out strong, like I'm like Kingpin, man, strike, strike, strike. Then it's gutter, 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 gutter. If we were bumper bowling, I can break 200 though. Why don't I have a New York accent? I'm asked because I don't live in New York City. I should golf. No, I ain't gonna golf. I did have a PCV cannon though that shot golf balls. That was pretty good. Shoot a golf ball straight through a chunk of plywood. I mean, that thing was pretty powerful. No, I'm not from New York City. If I did, I'd have a really sweet accent like Keith, who says he doesn't have an accent. But when he says things like, hey, take it easy, you know, forget about it, that kind of stuff, you know he's from New York. But New York's a whole lot bigger than the city, so the city's like this big, and all the rest of New York's like that big. But if you tell people you're from New York, they automatically think you're from downstate. Have I ever been to Boston? No, but if I do, I'm going to visit Cheers. And I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to sit where Norm's sat. Yeah, forget about it. Give me the beef. Vinny bag of donuts. Oh, yeah, the classic wire nut and sheetrock screw install. That's how you put in a lot of aftermarket stuff. Don't go to the fake Cheers. Is there? Well, I know that, you know what I'm saying. I just want to go see. I'm sure it's probably like stupid expensive and all that stuff, but eat a Wahlburger. Oh, so Jaron must know about the Wahlburger at Tom Wall's. That's about 8 exits up, I think, in Avon, New York. I believe it is exit 10 or 9 or 8, one of them. We're exit 1, but we have a Tom Wall's. I do like the Wahlburger. Do I use mass airflow cleaner or do I just replace the math? I always clean, regardless of all the tests and studies that show that cleaning them damaging them. I've cleaned lots of them to repair skewed readings, you know, underreporting, overreporting. Never seen any short-term effects from it, and don't really recall of any of those vehicles coming back later and actually needing it replaced. Becker over there at Wells Electronics, he did a good video on that. Shows close up, shows what kind of damage is done by cleaning them. So if you want to check that out or have any interest in it. So it's interesting, 350 Murano or Monroe, they like to watch Keith, but his kid is annoying. I'm assuming you have no children of your own. That would be my assumption from that. I particularly like Rocco, and I think it's kind of rude that you say that. So Rocco's a good kid. He's able to go out with his dad and work with him. I would say if you feel that way about him, then don't watch him. Yeah. Oh, there's Tom Wall, the Canandaigua. That's right. Yeah, Rocco's a really good kid. Who gets, what's it say? Who gets the credit for rather colorful quotes and sayings like zippy zap, crap biscuit? You know, I don't really recall where they all come from. I have a lot of sayings that I can't say on YouTube because it's a kid-friendly show. Like a lot of them. I don't know where they come from. You just pick them up. What happened to the Taurus X all-wheel drive? I'm not sure. I don't have one here. I want a Thunder. I don't remember where I got one to Thunder from. Son of a monkey. X-Cop, Car Crown Vicks. What do I think about the engines? I think they're just a plain old 4.6 liter. I don't really have an opinion on them. Turd buckets. Uggaduggas. Uggaduggas I probably stole from the internet, I'm sure. Where did I meet Mrs. O? No, Mrs. O since school, so I met her in school. Actually, I met her, gosh, I mean, I knew her in school, but I think I first seen her when I worked at the gun store. So it was back when I was in school. And her dad used to come in there, and she used to come in with her dad. I thought she was super hot. Then I'd see her at school, and then, you know, one thing leads to another. Yep, hotter than a banshee. Banshees are a lot of things. They're hot, they're smelly, they're everything. Yeah, we did detention together. Yeah, we got in a lot of trouble together. Son of a hoo-ha. Yeah, see, most of those are just covering up some bad swear words. So, oh, the Taurus X rear pump, Taurus X. Sorry, I think it was a freestyle. I know what you're talking about. So that's all done. I did put a new pump in it, service out the rear differential with their insanely expensive Volvo fluid that they use, cleared the codes, and shipped it down the road. Can I do a video on replacing GM53 head gaskets? I suppose if I ever get one in that needs, new lifters or whatever, you got to pull the head. Yeah, sure. For poop and laughter, I'll be jiggered. I'll be jiggered. Yeah, there's your problem, lady. I think that one just came from us. So that's definitely an original. Did I really meet her in detention, or were we joking? Well, we both went to the bad kids school where they send all the bad kids. So I don't even know if we had detention in that school because you're already up the creek if you had to go there. So what did you miss, Keith? You didn't miss much. There was one guy though who was saying that he didn't like Rocco, and so I told him if he doesn't, which we all agreed that Rocco's a good kid, I just told him not to watch it. If you see if you see Rocco in there and you find that distracting, then don't watch it. It's simple. Don't be hating on him though. Oh, now they're blowing me in saying I hate Dunkin' Donuts. Great. We don't hate Dunkin' Donuts. We just prefer Krispy Kreme. Last fight with my brother. Who's Rocco? Rocco is Keith's son, so he has him in some videos because Rocco seems to have an interest in automotive repair. And of course, he gets, Keith being an entrepreneur, he gets to ride around with him. So how cool is that? Get to bring your kids to work. I know exactly what that's like because all three of my kids grew up here in my shop until they went to kindergarten. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Keith, I guess if you're watching, Krispy Kreme sells donuts on Amazon. How you like me now? Full gorilla. Yeah, that's right. We do use the full gorilla. Man, it's got to be almost 8 o'clock, right? Yeah, usually I try to hang around for a couple hours for you guys uh, to satisfy to keep the people from calling. So the other day, a guy pissed me off. He called, which, I cannot take YouTube calls. We have, 25 million views. It's not an original idea if you decide to call the shop. This guy calls and he was getting nasty with Vanessa on the phone and he hung up. But that pissed me off. I tell you, if I get stupid phone calls like that, I'll just shut down a channel. I don't care. I don't have time for that crap. That's what it will come down to. Bottom line. So, I be a moron. That's it. I'm not gonna have it affect me and my family life and my business. This is my business. YouTube is not. So I don't mean to sound like a prick. I'm saying I do enjoy YouTube, but if it starts affecting, my business, then that's it. Show's over. They're lonely, probably. Does Mrs. O change tires for us now? No, she doesn't. If I absolutely needed her to, she would. She knows. I mean, she opens the doors and takes out garbages. I mean, she does a lot of stuff around here. A lot of stuff. I gotta have Hannah run to Krispy Kreme. Now Hannah's at school all the time now. So and then she's doing not an internship. What do they do at college where they actually have to go? Like she goes to a hospital and works. I don't remember what they call it, but you know what I mean. Not an intern. I think it's like an internship. Lab. I don't know, something. She goes to a hospital, works with people. Since Moby Dick was a sardine. I don't know. That's a pretty common saying. I don't think that's definitely not original to me. Work study. Yeah, clinical. Yeah, there you go. Joseph got it. They go to clinical. There you go. Yeah. Well, he didn't yell at Mrs. O, but he's kept saying he wanted to talk to me, and she's like, no, he doesn't take YouTube calls, and he started mother effing whatever, and then hung up or she hung up on him something. I'm not gonna I won't put up for it. How did he get my number? I mean, I'm a public business, so my number's out there, but don't be stupid. You can't, like I say, there's I don't know, almost 30 million views on our channel, whatever it is. It's like I say, it's not a unique idea. If somebody's like, hey, well, I'm gonna call him. Well, I'm sorry, so I try to do these things to kind of satisfy that urge, I guess, or want to talk to me for whatever reason. Yeah, you can call Big Sal Keith. So you're down there in the city, you can call the guy. Ever lose a 10 millimeter socket? Is that some kind of sick joke? Is Hannah my niece? No, I don't believe so. Yeah, Keith just said Hannah's his daughter. My car is warm. My car ain't warm. It's only been running for like 10 minutes. You know what? I am not one of them anti don't go warm up your car. I'll let 30 minutes go for it. I still get 28 miles to the gallon. That is a sensitive subject. The do I warm up my car subject. I can't believe that. When I started searching that, thought about doing a video on it because, obviously it's like sub-zero out. So do I warm up my car? I mean, there are people that are adamant they will not warm up their car. Start at 30 seconds in gear. Away we go. Motor sounds like a diesel driving down the road. Um, just warm it up, man. Warm it when it runs. The transmission pump's working, unless it's Chrysler or something where it only works in neutral. Everything's warm. Motor, train's warming up. I don't get it. Just warm up the car. But there's so many things online. I think I should do the video just because it would get like a tremendous amount of views. And I don't know, but it's so controversial. Like, oh, you're getting gasoline in your cylinders and it's washing out the engine. You're just doing more damage by letting it warm up. Whatever, that says the guy who lives in Texas. Not that people, nothing against people in Texas, but I'm just saying if you live in a spot where, warming up the car because it's 50 out, that obviously, if it's 20 below zero, yeah, warm it up. But there are some places where, you can get a ticket for leaving your car idling. I'd send one of my kids, I'll be like, here's $5, go sit in my car. Yeah, warming up, glazes over your cylinder. Sheesh, should have known that. You're gonna kill a polar bear. You know what? Well, when it's 20 below zero out, we ain't worried about melting the ice caps, folks. We just don't want to get in a cold car. See, Greg Meyer, he lives in Texas. He warms his up. See, there you go. Ticket here if you warm up the car unattended. That's gotta suck, man. I would be paying a whole lot of tickets. Get a block heater. Now I have a remote start. It's called a 10-year-old. I send them out like, go start my car and start your mother's car too. They love starting cars. I mean, 10 years old, man. They love starting cars. Yep. I always warm up my car. So that's my opinion. And I tell you what, I see some, if you don't warm it up, let's say you let it run a minute, that's fine. Yeah, it's going to run fine. The ECM is going to take control. It's going to run fine. It's not like carbureted days, you're not going down there messing with the choke and, keeping her going. Totally different. But I've seen, for instances where, let's say, women, for example, let's say they, shower in the morning, they don't blow dry their hair. Well, you go out in your car, you start it up, things stone cold, let it run for your 30-second scrape off your window. You hop in it, you got your cup of coffee and your wet hair. In about 5 seconds, when it's 5 below zero out, the inside of your window is going to be solid ice. You're done. Now you're sitting waiting for the car to warm up because all the ice is on the inside from your coffee and your wet hair. So, just little things like that. But so anyhow, oh man, we are at our limit, our 2-hour limit. But yeah, warm up your car, folks. That's going to turn me into the most hated person on YouTube ever, because I don't think there's one bit of information on the internet or on YouTube that says, yes, you should warm your car up. Everybody is anti-warm up, whether it's for environmental reasons, mechanical reasons, whatever the reason. I warm it up and I don't care. My name's Eric and I warm up my car. I'm going to get a name tag that says that. You're the most hated person in history. Bust the myth. I don't have enough scientific background to bust that myth. It's just a matter of fact, I warm it up. Yeah, if you drive your car down the road, does it warm up faster? That could be a viable test. Of course, you need two days consecutive with the exact same temperature to see 10 minutes of idling versus start it up and drive it for 10 minutes, which warms it up faster. What about start it up and prop your throttle pedal at 2,500 RPMs versus driving? Some variables there. That would be a good test. Perhaps I could do that in the winter time. Of course, if I had a 5-gas analyzer, the big thing is that people say is when you start your car and you let it warm up, it puts out more pollutants than if you drive down the road. Now you'd have to be able to measure airflow, if your converter's lit off, tailpipe emissions, it gets kind of technical then. Either way, whatever the results, I'm still going to warm my car up. First step is admitting I have a problem, and I did. Do I pull my wipers up before a storm hits? No, usually I go out with a scraper and just smash them loose. I'm not going to lie. All right. Well, I guess we should bring this whole thing to an end for the 1,159 people that are watching for whatever reason. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for the super chats. I look forward to those Krispy Kreme donuts from the Amazon. I hope they're fresh and amazing because I really can't wait. I hope they're coming in the next day or two. In the meantime, be on the lookout for some videos. I'm actually got to go home tonight, finish putting one together so I can put it out for you guys in the morning. Hopefully I'm not lying and you actually have one in the morning. And we'll get that taken care of. So subscribe if you haven't done that. I don't know why you'd be here if you haven't, but you should subscribe. Consider it anyways. Find us all around on the socials except for Twitter and all the other ones that we're not on. And you won't find us there. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. I got to find the stop button in my mouse. There we go. See ya.